Hello traders, it's Damien here. Hope y'all having a wonderful day, and you guys are coming along with the patterns and the ratios and the harmonics. Very exciting stuff. Nice way to trade. Price action, the much anticipated price action. Now price action to most people is candle formations, dojis, engulfing patterns like this one, hangmans, pin bars like this. To me, it's not. That's not price action to me. My approach to trading is actually a lot simpler, and in my hands, I feel it gives me a better edge than the candle formations. Also, the way you look at price action also makes a big difference. To me, each candle is a battle in the war between the bulls and the bears. And this is a 15-minute battle that took place between the bulls and the bears, which the bulls won this battle right here, as there was very little rejection of this candle. Now the way you want to look at a candle is, let me just draw a quick, let's pretend that this is a candle, and let's pretend that this is the body of the candle, and we divide it into thirds. You can take half of it right here, and then actually let's divide it in thirds. That's about a third. That's about another third, give or take. It doesn't have to be precise. And here's a midway point. Okay. Now, where this is the open and this is the close, or vice versa, depending on how price is moving. But basically what you want to see if there's any rejection within these areas, and that tells you who won that battle. If it stays anywhere near the half, the top half, we know that it's a bullish, there's still bullish strength in the market. If it closed up in the upper 1/3 here, meaning all this was bullish and this was rejection, then overall we have some bullish price action that has the ability to push price higher. So the expectation is for price to climb. Now you have to take this candle and interpret this candle with the previous candle, and that'll give you an even stronger or weaker indication that price should continue to climb. This will become a little more clearer as we get a little deeper into this video. But the same thing happens down here. If we have all this rejection in this battle between the bulls and the bears in the 50-minute candle, and we only have this much, even though it closed bullish, it closed, 2/3 less of what its volume was. That tells you that there is significant weakness in buying price action or bullish price action within this period of time. And if you see that in conjunction with the previous candle, that it closed above the high of the previous candle, things of that nature will give you a really strong indication of where the price we'll see any continued movement to the high side, will experience some consolidation, or will reverse back down. That is how I look at things, and I'm going to give you some examples here. We're going to do some live examples here, cheating, seeing the future. But then I will not cheat and scroll back into the history, and then we'll manipulate the chart so that you can see how this plays out, making believe it's real time, since real time is an issue here with the length of these videos. So let me erase this right now, and we'll get into that right here. And we can start anywhere, it doesn't matter. Let's start right here. And as you can see, this candle right here, let me fatten that up so you can see that really nice. Okay, make it fat. Okay, as you see here, we have, let's say that we're right here, and we see some rejection to the low side and to the high side. We also see some rejection to the high side here, which closed above this, but this candle closed below the high of this one, and there's a lot of rejection. There's a high tendency that price should see a drop from this level. The next candle right here closes bearish. Okay, there's a lot of rejection to the low side. There's little rejection to the high side. However, it closes at the open point of this. This is a candle that could indicate one of two things. It could indicate that price can stall a little bit and move sideways within the high and low of this candle, get some inside bars, or that price should see a drop because price erased all of the bullish momentum that this candle has, and there was rejection. The stronger weight is placed on the bears to push price lower. The next candle proved that, came down and erased the last 1, 2, 3, 4 candles with momentum and closed at its high. There was zero rejection of selling here, means that the bulls had zero activity here. They might have interacted with this candle, however, the bulls were unable to capitalize on any of that. That was the indication to you that price should see some lower price action. Okay, now the next candle has some rejection to the low side, closes high, bullish. However, there's rejection to the high side, which only pierced the halfway point and closed below the 2/3 of this candle. So that tells you that this bullish price action here is a desperation attempt by the bulls to try to recover this swing that they are very quickly losing. So the bias to this is that the bears are still in control of this market and price should move lower, and so it did. And as you see, the next candle had some rejection here, but still managed to close lower than the previous one. So the bears are still in control even though there was some rejection. Okay, the expectations for price to continue to see some downward momentum. Okay, the next candle was a doji, or what I call an indecision candle. No side won this battle. It was relatively a little more volume than this one. As you can see, it was bigger. There was significantly more rejection to the low side than there was to the high side. However, price was not able to close any higher or any lower than the previous candle, which was what? Bearish. Okay, so on to the next candle. My bias, although there is some indecision here, is still that we could see some lower price action. Okay, the next candle, same situation. We had a candle with a lot of rejection to the high side, which confirms our initial presumption here. Although it closed a little bullish, it closed below the 2/3 of it and was unable to close higher than the high of the previous candle. Okay, and was able to close higher than the open of this one. This tells me that we are still, although some bulls are trying to make a comeback here, are still very much bearish. And the next candle, we have the same situation. Open, tried to trade above, was unable to, closed below the low of these previous, all of these candles right here. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the bears are still very much in control of this market despite this rejection. That, without dragging this on forever, that is how I look at price action. That is how I analyze price action, and that is how I get a very good understanding of who's gaining strength, who is losing strength, who's definitely in control and who is definitely not in control, and which way I want to buy. It also helps me understand and determine which trades I will pass up on. Harmonics and ratios are great, but all they give you is targets and areas of opportunities where trading decisions are going to be made. It is up to the price action and how you interpret that price action, whether or not a trade is going to be taken in that area. Also, you want to use that in conjunction with whatever reversal signal you use. You know, they're still valid in golfings like this or dojis. You know, those are all pretty good indications of reversals in price actions, or at the very least instability or indecision. But I tend to not use those for my entry, and I tend to use more rejection signals and strength and weakness compared to 2 to 3 candles. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to a random area on the chart where my mouse stops, nobody knows, and we're going to find price. We're going to find price way down there. Okay, and we're going to go through this process from here forward. and we're going to start looking at these candles and determining, you know, where this is going to work. So we are going, let me pause the video. I'm getting a call I have to answer. Okay, I'm back. So here we go. We have some price action here. Price is coming down. There's some rejection here. Not much. Next one takes over, starts eating away. They start eating away. They start eating away, start eating away, eating away, eating away. Okay. So now we got here. So we're right here, and we see that there is a bearish candle here that closed very little volume, and it closed at its low. Okay. The next candle did the same thing, pretty much. It opened here, never traded any higher. There was some little bit of rejection, but not much, and still managed to close below this one. So the anticipation is that price continues to drop, and we have the same here, same here, same here. Now, we have very little volume, but we have consistently bearish price action with no rejection. The expectations for price to continue to move lower. We advance one candle. Okay, in the next candle, price continues to move lower, and we have some rejection now. However, price still closes lower than the previous candle right here. So this may be an indication that price is interacting with this area here, and that we may see a little bit of consolidation here. Next candle, another indecision candle, respecting that level and seeing some rejection to the high side, and price unable to open or close higher or lower. However, there is significantly more rejection to the high side than the low side. This tells me that the bears are still able to push price lower, and that is my expectations for price to drop. Next candle is a rejection to the low side, very little commitment to the high side, although it closed at its high point, which barely was unable to close above this area. Took about half of the previous candle. Doesn't change my bias. And as you see, the next candle continued to move lower. We have some rejection to the high side, which is as I suspected, and we also have very little rejection to the low side, and price was able to close below these last two candles. So my expectations for price to continue to drop. Indecision, same thing, rejection to the high side, my expectations for price to drop. Now things may be starting to turn here a little bit. Now we have the bulls trying to take over this, and this area holding. Okay, now we see, remember I told you that price should start moving sideways here a little bit, and so it has, and we have some bullish price action, but still some rejection and unable to close higher here. We may see some bearish price action still, and as we see there, it does, and next candle closes at its low. So I'm expecting for price to drop, and so it has. However, price closed with indecision below here and was unable to close below any of these levels. This tells me that there is still some indecision, and the bulls are still very actively trying to take over here, and that we may not be seeing any more or very low movement toward the downside. And as you see here, we have some rejection to the high side, and some close of the bears here. Still indicates some bearish price action. However, nothing significant here, even though it did close here. There's still very little volume, and we may see some more movement to the downside. However, price is starting to react to this area here of demand, I'm sorry. Again, another bearish candle, but again, not very convincing, although it closed at its low point. We see here that price is unable to significantly pick up its volume, and it's definitely interacting with this. So that's why the candles are getting closer, and there's a little bit of rejection to the high side as the area is being tested. Again, another candle, very little bearish action, some rejection to the low side, and we're going to see price climbing here very soon. Indecision to the high side, and no price action to the low side at all. That tells you that, you know, we should expect price to rise, and I was wrong. Price came down and closed near its low right here, interacting with this area of support. Right now it's unclear whether price will find support or price should drop. I think price is going to continue to rise, as evident in here, the lack of commitment. This commitment could just be a testing of that area. And here confirms my suspicion where we have some rejection to the low side. We were unable to trade any lower or close any lower than the previous candle, and we took away a little more than half. We took away 2/3 of this price action here, which tells me that although we had rejection to the low side, to the high side, that we also had an overtaking of power here. And my confirmation, or I don't have a confirmation yet, but my thought process that price should rise is more likely. And here we go. Again, higher, 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 higher. Oh, took away half of the strength here. A little bit of rejection to both sides. Indecision. Lower, lower, higher, higher, lower, oops, higher, higher. You see, that's how this works, guys. And although here we have some rejection, we were unable to take any power here. Next candle, I misread this one, and I'll tell you why. I said lower because it closed with a lot of rejection to the high side, a lot of rejection, and it closed bearish. However, but if we take a look at it carefully, we see that price didn't take away but half of the strength of this one. And there was a lot of rejection to the low side here, and overall we are still within the trading frame of this one, which is bullish, and we had some bullish price action here. So this was a misread on my part, and it was influenced by a lot of this rejection here. But as you can see, as I told you guys, you know, in moving price along, that price did pretty much what I anticipated to do. Yeah, I came back down here to retest the slope, but I kept saying higher, 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 and look where price went. Price action. I hope that was clear. I know this video is long. I've been playing around with this to see how we can keep it short, but that's basically it. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of questions, and run through that exercise, you know, about a half hour every day, and you'll be surprised how good you become at anticipating the moves of the market. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope this video had value to you. Thank you.